Welcome to Friday Focus Supplement A version 1. Looking forward to the holidays, and a lot of us are going to be gathering with our families and having maybe overeating a little bit, and that's what we do when we celebrate. We maybe eat too much. That's what we do as Americans. My family, we're going down to Costa Rica, and we had a tradition in our family. We go down to Florida every year for Thanksgiving. So the kids grew up, and now my oldest daughter's getting married next year, so we're having one final, without the spouses, holiday. Of course, my spouse is fun. So that's going to be fun. So I'll probably have some kind of fish. I don't think they celebrate Thanksgiving down in Costa Rica. So one of the things that happens, though, and we have a lot of tie into this, is the weight gain that occurs with holidays. And a lot of our business is based around helping people get healthier. One of our obviously our purpose or mission is to help you become the person you're meant to be. And a lot of people want to be a little thinner and healthier. And we got to give them advice, and we have different means for helping with the weight loss. We certainly do the things with the staffing, with the gym membership, and the meals. Some good advice. We're doing the thicolloid and galactoligosaccharide, the little green powders, trying to make us healthier and grow better bacteria in our guts. We're training our patients how to eat healthier. We have people we're doing Obera for, the balloon in the stomach, to make them lose weight. We have a weight loss program to some degree. We have the hormone replacement to help people. We know that as men and women age, if they go on testosterone replacement, they'll gain less weight and be healthier. But what can you tell your patients that's very solid advice about things you could do to diet? We know about the Midwestern diet. I'm sorry, the Mediterranean diet, not the Midwestern diet. Don't do that one. That's like corn, and that's like we had today in the lunchroom. We had the Midwestern diet: turkey, corn, potatoes. I'm just like tired from eating, and I got a headache. I don't normally get that, but I had this. Shauna says have to have this cake. It's great, and I don't know what it was, but it had peanut butter or something in it. I didn't know you could put peanut butter in dessert. So that's the Midwestern diet. The Mediterranean diet is more like fish and nuts and grains and some oils. And then there's like the high protein diets that obviously fail long term. And they're inflammatory. There's the grapefruit diet, cookie diet. All these other diets don't work. The South Beach diet that does its own diet. But what about things you can just do practically that aren't specifically dieting? Well, one of the diets that became very popular in 2013, the BBC, British Broadcasting Channel, aired this thing called the 5-2 diet. The 5-2 diet was the idea of eating normal eating habits 5 days a week, and 2 days a week doing significant fasting, not going 0 calories, but doing significant fasting. And there was a guy who wrote a book about it, and a few people were blogging and talking about it. They had no science, but they claimed that this 5-2 diet help people lose weight. It's very popular overseas, and it's caught on a little bit here in America, but not much. It hasn't really hit here yet. But what happens when there's a new diet fad that comes out, then researchers start studying it. They'll actually put people on the X diet and then people on a regular diet and see who does better. So the research has come out this year, 2016. Nothing before then was really published much on fasting diets or alternate day fasting diets. So I'm going to go over the steps that went forward to tell whether or not this actually can work, something you can do to get off some of the excess weight or kind of protect yourself from weight gain or holidays or to lose weight. Okay. So the first thing is, you've heard about like the fact that maybe eating a heavier breakfast and a little medium lunch and a lighter dinner, you might lose weight. So they did a study specifically where they looked at switching for your weight loss, obese women, switching the main meal to lunch from dinner. Okay, so they just basically said, instead of eating a big dinner and a small lunch, eat a big lunch and a small dinner, and they were still doing a calorie restriction. And this was done in Tehran, in Iran. And what they found is just simply changing the calorie majority to lunchtime versus dinner time, they had a substantially greater weight loss. In a period of 12 weeks, they lost about another 3 pounds. And this is on people that were kind of just trying to lose weight. So just even changing when you eat might help, right? That sounds interesting. Well, what about instead of like just having a smaller dinner, what would happen if you fasted just a certain number of hours in a day? Like, if we graze all day long, sometimes we're even told or hear we got to eat a bunch of small meals. Well, that's actually BS, because the study showed that if you eat one giant meal a day versus spreading those calories out over 2 or 3 meals, you'll do better in spreading it out. But nobody's ever shown effectively that eating throughout the day small calories, it makes you lose weight. It actually doesn't. But let's talk about this here diet, this study. Now, this was a study done in Italy. And they did this study on men who were in pretty good health and they were regular exercisers, but they were just a little bit overweight. And one of the things was to see what happens if we do some intermittent fasting through the day. Does it affect muscle mass and that sort of thing? So they put people on one of two groups of diets. On one group, they had them, they counted up their calories eaten a day. They said eat them over 12 hours. Between 8 a.m., 1 p.m., 8 p.m., eat all your calories. And you eat the normal amount of food. And in group 2, skip breakfast. Eat at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., eat at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. So skip breakfast, eat at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. Same number of calories. Okay? The guys that did the 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. lost 8 times more fat than the guys that ate over 12 hours, exact same number of calories. Now, they didn't lose a lot. They lost 16% of their body fat, not 16% of their weight, but let's say a guy that's 160 pounds, got 20 pounds of body fat, then 16% would be like a small amount, like 3 pounds. But they lost 8 times more than spreading it out. In other words, when they ate the calories over an entire day, they lost a little tiny bit of weight, maybe a few ounces. But if they ate just in the afternoon, they lost 8 times more. It's minor fasting. They did another study here in Champaign, Urbana, University of Illinois, and they took obese men and they put them on a heart healthy diet, which would be the typical heart healthy diet, low fats, lower calories. And group 2, they put them on a 1 day a week fasting diet. So 6 days a week, they ate a normal calorie consumption, and 1 day a week, they ate about 400 or 500 calories, which would be like maybe in the morning a little egg whites, and in the afternoon a fruit or a vegetable or something like that. And doing 1 day fasting a week versus every day eating healthy, they lost the same amount of weight as dieting every day. And it also had a healthy outcome on their what's called vascular resistance. They actually had better cardiac outcomes by just skipping 1 meal a day. And there's been other studies showing that long-term fasting is kind of healthy for us. But what about, it's hard to do. What about just 1 day? Here's a study that is the 5-2 diet. This study was done in Australia. And they put people on one of 2 diets. These were people that were obese, and they had type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is the one that you get when you're older, when you've eaten too much sugars and you get kind of heavy. And group 1, they put them on a 1,200 calorie a day diet. If you go on a 1,200 calorie a day diet and you're heavy, that's not very many calories. So that was kind of a difficult diet. And group 2, they said 5 days a week, just eat your normal stuff. Don't just eat whatever you normally eat, whatever it is, eat it. And then 2 days a week, we only want you eating 500 calories. And the 2 days don't have to be in a row. You can mix them up. But 2 days a week, skip meals. 5 days a week, eat regular. And group 2, you suckers get to eat 1,200 calories a day every day for 8 weeks. Well, what they found was that both groups lost the same amount of weight. However, the group in the 5-2 diet lost more fat. The people in the low-calorie diet lost more bone and muscle mass. And the people in the 5-2 diet lost no bone and muscle mass and lost more fat. Additionally, when they followed people well after the study, they kept it off better. Now that's interesting, they kept it off better. What happened? Well, these people learned in the 5-2 diet that they're not going to do a 1,200 calorie day diet forever, but when they went kind of off the diet, they knew when they put a little weight on, they could just skip a meal a day. They just 1 day not eat much at all. Okay, so then the question is, is this healthy? So obviously it's healthy to go down to 500 calories 2 days a week, but what happens if you do something really extreme? Like really kind of stress this whole, people are obese and then not eating things. So they did a study here, which is pretty draconian. They did it in Denver. So they did every other day, they put people on 0 calories that were obese. These are heavy people. They were high BMI people. They're all over 30 BMI, which is pretty heavy, obese. And they put one group on a diet where they just cut back by 400 calories a day. And the other group, they had them go on eat regular 1 day, and the next day don't eat at all. And they put them in a hospital for a week so they can measure their blood pressure and their vital signs and their labs. And after a week, they just let them go home. And at the end of 8 weeks, they lost, interestingly, the same amount of fat. Okay, same amount of fat. And there was no health events. But what's crazy about this is going on 0 calories every other day worked as good as going on 500 calories 2 days a week. So why the heck would you do this? You wouldn't. They were trying to show or demonstrate, was this safe or unsafe for somebody that's overweight not to eat at all for 24 hours? Perfectly safe, nothing happens. They lost the exact same amount of weight as the people that were on this reduction, and they also followed them for a half a year, and they were successful long term. Okay, so but there was no difference in outcomes. However, I would say doing the every other day 0 calories makes no sense because it's hard and it's way overkill, and it doesn't work any better than just a 5-2 diet, which seems to work optimally. Last study is what we call a meta-analysis, and a meta-analysis is where they take multiple studies. In this case, they took 28 studies, narrowed down to 10 that were fairly well, and they compared alternate day fasting, which is anywhere between fasting 1 day a week, fasting 2 days a week, or fasting every other day, and compared it to a very low-calorie diet. And they found that the alternate day fasting diets are superior. There's less loss of lean body mass, a little bit more fat mass loss, and even easier tolerated. Now, I'm not talking about going from eating unhealthy and having McDonald's and fasting twice a week over eating super healthy. Now, obviously, we should be eating healthy. But when we're going through the holidays, or if we're just trying to get somebody sort of primed on weight loss, the 5-2 diet may be the ideal diet. Okay, it allows us to lose weight without making major lifestyle changes. Once people do lose weight, they're going to start making other positive changes. And also, you've heard me talking about the bacteria in your gut and how these have a big determinant on whether or not you're obese or slim. And fasting gives you healthy microbiota. Now, in these studies, they didn't determine whether or not that was the reason for this success with this diet. They didn't test that, but perhaps it certainly does have a favorable effect on microbiota doing intermittent fasting. But we do know is you can tell your patients or your family or yourself when you're going through the holidays, you maybe ate a little bit too much at Christmas, then the next couple of weeks just skip 2 meals, 2 days a week, eat 500 calories, which is pretty tolerable. I did it myself just to see what it felt like prior to this meeting. And it was kind of easy until I got by my desk because I keep some like almonds and dark chocolate in my bottom drawer. Don't go in there, those are mine. And when I got near there, I got very hungry. And then when I was at home, my wife has a snack drawer that I just had to totally avoid eye contact with. Otherwise, it was kind of painful. But otherwise, I didn't even notice it. And I had, for breakfast, Maria made me like a vegetable smoothie. And that was all I ate for the whole day. Like, no big deal. I kind of lost my appetite. So this is a diet that we can kind of recommend to our family and friends and our patients. Like, just fast 2 days a week. We know the science shows that there's no safety risk, even if you go much more extreme than that. Going more extreme than that is not necessary. And a 5-2 diet, where you fast 2 days a week and eat normal, otherwise, works as good as going on 1,200 calories a day. Actually works better. Okay, so that's your Friday Focus tip for the holidays. Spread the word, send this to your friends. Thank you.